Welcome to Property Wealth System A to Z on investing in property.
We're creating this series to educate and entertain you, our community of both active and aspirational property investors.
Who are Property Wealth System? We're a collective of professional property investors who've come together to help other people achieve their goals in property through education.
So whether you are looking to get started in property or if you have a portfolio looking to grow it to the next level, we are here to help. My name is Nick Claydon.
And I'm Rick Blaney.
And we are two of the Property Wealth System mentors. We have been investing in property and training others for over 10 years. In this first video, we're going to talk about A is for auction, a guide to buying and selling at auction as an investment strategy. Before we get started on this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There are different types of auctions depending on where you live in the country. And auction rooms can range from being small affairs with maybe 10, 15 people in them to the big kind of London auctions where you might have 500 people in the room all looking at properties, and these can go on often for the whole day.
Do think about what sort of properties you're going to view. The most important thing is thinking about your strategy. Do the properties that you're going to look at in the auction fit your strategy? Once you've identified a property that is of interest, make sure that you do your due diligence. What do I mean? So that means that you've identified similar properties in the area, both in a done-up condition and also in a distressed condition. How much is it likely to cost you to refurbish the property? What is going to be your end strategy?
My attitude when I go into an auction room and I'm looking at properties to buy is I need to look for the hidden dangers. Is there anything potentially wrong with a property?
Remember, when the hammer comes down, you're the legal owner and you are committed to buy.
There can be severe penalties if you don't complete the purchase within the typical 28-day time period. Remember to stick to your price, and whatever you do, don't revenge buy. What do we mean by that?
You've lost out on a deal and you think, I need to go away with something from this auction. Just don't bid on something because you think it looks like a deal, because you need to have done your due diligence.
So this is where we see people that go in looking for a 3-bedroom house and come out buying, I don't know, an outdoor toilet.
Exactly right. That is called ego. So don't let your ego get the better of you when you're in an auction room. Remember, there's a lot happening in an auction room, so do pay attention. Position yourself at the back of the room so you can see what your competition are up to. And also, don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. You might find some really interesting people to speak to about the local market.
Every auction is a networking opportunity and you really should take that.
So one of the common mistakes we see with amateurs is they actually bid with their heart. What I mean by that is they fall in love with the property and they decide to go a little bit over the agreed price, having done their due diligence, and end up overpaying.
We also see a lot of amateurs that let their ego get out of control and start overpaying for properties because they don't want to lose.
So professionals will always buy with their calculator. They do their due diligence and they stick to their numbers.
Professionals are happy to walk away from the auction room if the property goes over their agreed price. There's lots of ways to make money in an auction room.
One such example would be trading property in auctions by securing paperwork. What do I mean by that?
Well, what that means is you can buy a property, secure planning permission on it, and then flip it on through an auction room, for example.
So you can make money through auctions without actually ever building anything.
Also, there's strategies for advanced investors where you can buy a property at auction, do absolutely nothing to it, put it back in another auction, and get an increased price and sell it that way. Make a profit without spending a penny.
Remember, as we've already stated, when the hammer falls, you own the property. So it's very, very important that when buying through auction, that you do go through the correct set of procedures and processes. What do we mean by that? So first of all, you must always view the property.
Now, often these viewings can be in a block. So you're going there with other investors, which again is a good opportunity to network, but it's absolutely vital that you get out there and you actually physically eyeball the property before you even think about putting an offer in an auction room.
You need to be able to assess how much the refurbishment is going to cost. So if that's taking an architect or going with a builder or having a good appreciation of the costs involved yourself.
Also, you must know what you are going to do to the property and you must know what is the value of that so that you can work out your numbers and get an accurate figure for what your maximum buy price is.
Remember strategy. Why are you viewing the property? What is your intended use for it and how are you going to make this into a deal afterwards? Are you buying the property to refurbish and sell? Are you buying the property to refurbish and hold? Who is your end market and what is your strategy?
Absolutely imperative is that you get a legal professional to read what's called the legal pack. Every property being sold at auction will have a legal pack. You must download this and you must send this to your solicitor. Do not try and read this legal pack yourself unless you are a solicitor. There will be something in there that you may miss, you may not understand, and you can end up buying yourself a dud property, or worse, a property that's going to end up costing you thousands and thousands of pounds.
When it comes to property, don't be cheap. Pay for professional experience. That's what they're there for, and that's why you pay them the fees.
Also imperative is that you know how are you going to finance this property purchase in the auction. Remember, when the hammer falls, within a minute or two, somebody will be tapping you on the shoulder and asking you to pay the 10% deposit there and then. That deposit must be paid in cleared funds. So that must be transferable from a bank account or with a banker's draft. You also need to know where the rest of the purchase money is coming from. You must have arranged your finance in advance, because you are completing, or you must complete, within 28 days.
And as Nick mentioned earlier, if it does exceed your bid price, don't be afraid to walk away. Better to be alive and ready to bid in the next auction, so keep your powder dry.
Rick, I think you've got a story that might resonate with some of our investors out there.
Absolutely, due diligence. So we've mentioned that a lot. I was in an auction house last year where a property sold in the auction room very clearly between two bidders. Afterwards, the auction house rang me and said, look, would you be interested in buying this property? And I said, well, I believe that sold in the room. And the situation was that the lady in question had either bought with her heart because she was so in love with the property, or bought with her ego because she didn't want to lose out. Either way, she was now the legal owner to a property that she didn't have the finance in place, and the auction house was trying to help her out by selling the property. Now, she was the legal owner and she is now due to cover any losses for that property and or lose her deposit. So it's really, really important that you do your due diligence and you stick to your numbers.
So remember, as professionals, we buy with our calculators, not with our ego.
So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed our introduction into auctions.
Look out for next week's video, which will be about buy-to-let investing. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.